What's up, everybody? Today on Make It Cozy, we're gonna make this apothecary cabinet. Before we get into this build, I just wanted to mention a couple things. This project is something that I've wanted to do and was a bit intimidated to execute for a while. But I kind of feel like I'm at the experience level that I've executed it, and executed it to my liking at least, in terms of a culmination of a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of things that I saw on YouTube, social media, other makers, this and that. And I put those techniques to work in order to make the frame, make the boxes, make the knobs. But you'll see that in the video. So enough talk, let's do this. I got this piece. I've been kind of table sawing this lumber down. This was a 2x4 that was reclaimed, whatever you want to label it as, repurposed. That's why I got these two pieces right here, and then I got one long piece, baby. But this thing was like, it came out of like a cabinet or whatever. It was situated as part of like structural lumber, and like I had to chisel off all these big old glue, sawdust. These big old gluey pieces. Is it weird? You can't see my eyes. Do people get pissed off about that? I don't know. They're like, I don't trust him because I can't see his eyes. But yeah, big old glue pieces. You get the point. It was gluey. Obviously, if you just buy lumber, you don't have to deal with that. So, there we go. I got this guy. It's probably about ½ an inch thick. So I'm going to try to get it sanded down. Planed, if you will. So I got some plans made for my build. Let's check this out. So I kind of started to see what's going together, but I got the measurements for the boards on the outside. I got two of these, 12 by 3 1/8 by 5/8. Inside boards, there's going to be 6 of those, 11 3/8, 3 1/8, 5/8. I wanted a recess here on the bottom for the wood to be stabilized. Also going to do half laps, bloop, 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 bloop on these 4 guys right here to stick in. Also, there's going to be a little bit of a recess here. These boards, like I said, 11 3/8. All the recesses are going to be 5/8 inches wide, which is right here, 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 and here, except for these right here, which you got to divide by 2. Boom, 5/16. Now that we got the plan, you understand, I want to take it to my little table saws. So I got this little table saw right here set up with stop blocks. That way I can get the recesses and the dados cut for those pieces that are going to be interlocked for the frame. And there we go. We got everything situated. Everything was calculated out. Then we take it to my bigger table saw. And again, I'm utilizing stop blocks to get everything reproducible. You already saw the plans. I had everything calculated out. And this way, all I have to do is cut. I don't have to think about how to position the boards. I just go to work. That way I can get it on the one side, get it on the other side, and then get everything glued up, strapped up, and ready for the next process. And there we go. Now we're going to add some texture to the wood coming up. All right, so here's what I want to do. Right now, it's pretty well smooth, and you can see. So if you take a look, you can focus on that. Yeah, look at them rings. So the difference in the rings, there's a lot of softer and a lot of harder woods in between those layers of the rings. So what's going to happen is that whenever this wire wheel eats away at the softer bits, you're going to be left with the harder bits, and it's going to look a lot cooler. Watch it. Watch out. Check it out. Look. Now hopefully you can kind of see not so smooth. So now it's starting to look rustic. All right, so now we got everything looking beaten up. So there we go. So now it's got texture. So these sides look real nice, and the top looks real nice. It's got a split. You can see the split right there. But you know what? I kind of like the defect. If you watch anything that I do, you know that I enjoy defect. It gives that hand-made look. I roughed it up. You feel the texture. It's real nice. And I tried to clean it up a little bit with some 80 grit sandpaper. And this is the sticky bag. This goes on like the, like a drum sander or whatever. Not a drum sander. Maybe it's a drum sander. Spindle sander? I don't know. It's not a spindle sander. Sandler? Anyways. I like these, and I like cutting off the tips because sometimes I can paste them. See, I just cut the round piece off right here, stick it on the thingy, and that way, if I need a sand, I ain't going nowhere. You clamp it down, even better. But anyways, with these scrap pieces, they're sticky back. So I take the sticky pieces off and I stick them on my finger. That way I can get into the grooves and stuff, especially with something like this that's got a lot of grain in it. To get into these small pieces, all I do is I just bend it around and then I get in there. No big deal. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this whole guy. I'm gonna use this maple stain, it's real light. And then I'm gonna take this foamy bit. I'm gonna go in with a dark stain. It's a dark walnut. I like it. Okay, so we're gonna go right into the dark walnut. And the reason being is because I want them to kind of intersperse between each other. And this is where your bravery test comes in. After I give it a little wipe to get off all the excess maple, I'm coming in with the brush so that I can get into the grooves the cupped wire brush did for us. So that way you can get into those spots. Just give it a little, wipe it off, and then just let the brush go where the brush goes. That's what I say, this is your bravery test. I feel like I learned this from Bob Ross. Again, I talked about the bravery test, but really, you just kind of want to go with the grain of the wood, what looks natural. So see, I'm just kind of going along this, just the seam of it here, and then again, just like a whisper, just kind of take it out into the part where it's going to soak it up, where that softwood is. It's going to soak it in, but don't just slap it on either. So then once this part over here needs to be touched up probably. And then just be sparing as well, right? You can always take it off. Oh, sorry, you can always put it on. You can't take it off. And then just go through and then see, so I've already gone through this one here. So you see, I just kind of follow the contour of the grain on the inside corner of those and those, and then just real light, just real light brush strokes, barely touching the canvas, but just like that. So I just wanted to follow up. All right, let's get into position. So I'm going to throw this on the disc sander just real quick. It's not even really pertinent for this because I just wanted to get the high spots off just so it'll slide into its slot a little bit easier and smoother. But I wanted to give these drawers the feel of they've been used, they're worn, they're bent. You know, it's not perfectly square, and I don't care about that because that's just the way that I wanted to do it. That was my own opinion. Other thing that I wanted to make sure of is that the faces of each one of them were the same. All right, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Now that the drawers are pretty well situated, I got them all numbered so that I know which one is which. Next step is I have my bottoms laid out. I just need to give them a sanding, and then I'm gonna have to do these. I imagine I'm gonna have to do these one by one to figure out how to stick the bottom in the bottom. All right, so I have all of my pieces that are cut to rough shape, right? You saw this one, I was pounding this one into position, into submission. I got my campfire. So what I want to do is sand these. I don't want to get them like completely booyah'd in there, because if they are press fit and I don't know what I'm going to decide to put in these things, but if I put them in there and they start to buckle under the pressure, I think I want to get them glued in there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do that. Now that I have my 1/2-inch dowel pieces glued to the front, we're ready to continue on with the completion of my Apothecary Cabinet build. If you saw in a previous video, I made some little turtle shells out of some copper pipe. This process for the fronts is very similar, so if you want to go check out that video, the only difference is that I did not turn these into a turtle shell. It wouldn't have been very conducive in opening these drawers. So instead, we're going to use these. I got them laid out. I'm going to get my epoxy ready to roll. So what I've done here is I cut the center of this because it's never, ever, ever the same. And even whenever I go through using it, like look at that, see? It's already off. And yet, I have really stinky equal pieces. All right, we're gonna use the chopstick. Always save your chopsticks. You'll never know when it's gonna come in handy, because you always wanna roll your goo. That way you get the most out of your mixing. No, I'm just eyeballing it here. No need to go all rocket on it. Team Rocket. This ain't no rocket science, baby. Like we're gonna do it like icing. It's like a coiled poop.
Hey, 10-4, good buddy.
Come on, baby, stick to the copper. What's wrong with you? So after I let this guy dry overnight, even if it was during the day, if you keep your little bamboo stick with the epoxy on it, once it's dry there, you know it's dry on your drawers. So I got this guy hung up. I just drilled some holes in the cinder block so that I can put some wood pieces in there for this French cleat to buy into. And this is just a store-bought one. It's like 6 inches long. And then I just got some spare copper, you know, stuff in here. Boop. Some screws and whatnot. But that's pretty secure. It's not going anywhere. So that's it for this build. I appreciate you watching and going through this process with me, because, you know, like I say, this isn't the best way to do it. This is just the way that I wanted to do it, and to make it look more rustic, and to just, you know, get my hands dirty and actually fulfilling something that I've always wanted. And I didn't want to spend $200 on something you can find at the thrift store, or somebody's, you know, great grandfather's piece that's 700 years old and they want $5,000 for it because it's awesome looking. You know what I mean? So there you have it. I appreciate you sticking around. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.